Hey there, welcome back. Let's take a moment to be honest with ourselves. Most men were never truly taught how to navigate relationships with women in a healthy, respectful, and confident way. And if that's you, you're not alone. There was no father, mentor, or guiding voice for many guys to show them what to do, or more importantly, what not to do. The good news? That's precisely what today's video is about. Think of this as a conversation with your older brother or a father figure who genuinely wants the best for you. Someone who's been through the mistakes, learned the hard lessons, and now wants to spare you the same heartbreak and confusion. So take a seat, mentally and emotionally, and lean in. This video isn't about judgment or blame. It's about clarity. It's about finally getting the kind of guidance every man deserves. We will walk through 7 key behaviors that might hold you back, not just in dating, but in how women perceive you and how you perceive yourself as a man. Ensure you stick around until the end, because each rule builds on the last. This is more than just dating advice. It's a foundation for becoming a man who leads with integrity, respect, and quiet strength. Let's get into it. Number 1. Do not buy her affection. Is a line that too many men cross without realizing it. Not out of desperation, but out of a misguided belief that affection can be earned through generosity. It begins innocently, a dinner here, a bouquet there, a gift to show he cares. But over time these gestures can evolve into something else entirely, a quiet transaction where the currency is affection and the cost is clarity. Do not buy her, and by that do not pay for her affection. These words ring louder with every story of a man who gave too much and received too little in return. The problem isn't generosity, the expectation that love will grow from it. What often follows is a slow confusion that lingers beneath every interaction. Does she care for me or what I give her? When a man starts buying food, flowers, jewelry, or covering expenses like tuition and books, he may feel he's building a connection, but what he's doing is creating a dynamic where his value is defined by what he provides. In this space, affection becomes conditional. Her attention may come quickly, but it's no longer rooted in who he is, but in what he offers. And that's a dangerous game. This kind of affection is transactional. It's a performance, sometimes sincere, but often shaped by benefit. He wonders why she only calls when she needs something, or why her warmth fades when the gifts stop. The bond they seem to share is no longer built on mutual care, but silent expectations. And with time comes resentment. His for feeling used, hers for feeling owned. Even worse, it fosters emotional dependency. She may rely on his financial support while withholding real emotional intimacy. He, in turn, stays locked in a cycle of giving, hoping that one day it will be enough to make her stay. But affection bought is never affection kept. What began as a gift becomes a trap for both. There's a saying, if you have to pay for love, it's not love, it's debt. And that debt only grows with time. A man must remember that his presence, values, and energy are the offerings. When love is real, it's not coaxed out with a credit card. It arrives freely, without needing to be bought. Number 2. Don't stare at her private parts. There's a difference between being noticed and being seen, and every woman can tell which one a man is doing within the first 5 seconds. You're not complimenting her when your eyes immediately drop to her chest or linger too long on her curves. You're reducing her. In that moment, she becomes a body, not a person, and the connection you might have built vanishes before it ever begins. Looking at a woman like that doesn't flatter her, it diminishes her. It tells her you're not interested in who she is, but in what you think she can offer. It sends a message louder than any pickup line. You're here to be looked at, not listened to. That's not just disrespectful, it's lazy. Women aren't fooled. They know when they're being sized up instead of being genuinely seen. And when that happens, trust erodes instantly. She may smile out of politeness, but inwardly she's pulling away. The truth is, attraction is natural, but respect is a choice. If you want to stand out from the countless others who stare and never say a word, lift your gaze. Meet her eyes. Hold it just long enough to show you're not afraid of connection. There's power in eye contact. It's the first test of character. It says, I see you and am not just here for the surface. You don't need perfect lines or charm that drips with effort. What you need is presence. Confidence doesn't come from ogling. It comes from walking up, shoulders steady, and saying something real. If you're drawn to her, don't let your body language whisper insecurity. Let your posture speak courage. Let your eyes talk about respect. The men who get remembered are the ones who make a woman feel human, not hunted. If your instinct is to stare, stop. That's the easy route and the least effective. Be the one who approaches with intention, not impulse. Look her in the eye, not because it's a trick, but because it's the only way to connect with something real. And if your nerves try to hold you back, remember this. Being a man isn't about pretending to feel nothing. It's about showing up despite the fear and doing it right. So grow your courage, not your fantasies. Walk over and talk to her like she matters. If she does, then prove it, starting with your eyes. Number 3, don't dress like a bum. Before a woman decides whether she wants to know you deeply, she's scanning what you silently say with your appearance. Men often assume that their charm, intellect, or confidence will do the heavy lifting, but women instinctively tune in to how a man presents himself. Clothes aren't just fabric, they're signals, and the man who ignores this truth does so at his own risk. To many women, a man's outfit speaks louder than his first words. It tells her whether he respects himself, whether he understands social nuance, and whether he'll make her feel proud to stand beside him. Women don't expect runway fashion or expensive designer brands. What they're looking for is effort, clean clothes that fit, shoes that aren't falling apart, a man who looks like he cares about how he shows up in the world. This matters even more when she introduces him to her friends or family. Whether he realizes it or not, she's watching to see if he blends well with her world. A man dressed like he just rolled out of bed sends the message that he doesn't value the moment, that he doesn't value her, and no woman wants to feel like she's dragging a project around instead of standing beside a man. A sharp look doesn't need to be flashy. A fitted shirt, a clean pair of jeans, and well-kept shoes go a long way. When a man shows that he can take care of his appearance, it hints that he can take care of other things too: his home, his hygiene, and his ambitions. It's all connected. Women are excellent at making these tiny links quickly and unconsciously. There's a simple truth many men need to hear. You don't need to be handsome, but you do need to look like you care. When a woman looks at you in public, she doesn't just see a man. She considers herself an extension of herself. Her image is partly reflected in yours. As one woman once said, "If I'm putting in effort, I want to know he is too." So, dressed like someone she'd be proud to stand next to. It's not about vanity, it's about value. Showing her that you value yourself is the first step in showing her you can value her too. Number 4. Don't use gender slurs. There comes a moment in nearly every man's journey with women when rejection stings sharper than expected, or betrayal cuts more deeply than imagined. In those moments of raw emotion, some men reach for words that were never meant to build understanding, only to wound. But no matter what she did or how unfair the situation may seem, there's one rule that separates the man from the boy. Never reduce a woman to a name meant to shame. When a man calls a woman a slewer, he isn't just lashing out. He's reaching for control in the most primitive way. It's not about truth, it's about power. And in relationships where women already walk through the world with a constant awareness of their physical vulnerability, these words don't just hurt, they intimidate. They create emotional fear that echoes far beyond the conversation. A man might think he's asserting himself, but in reality he's broadcasting his inability to manage pain without striking back. True strength doesn't show itself through dominance or insult. It reveals itself in restraint, holding the line when your pride is bruised, in choosing dignity over cruelty. You're stronger by nature, and that power carries responsibility, but using it to belittle someone makes you dangerous and unappealing. It shows weakness disguised as control. Emotional maturity is feeling anger without letting it control your actions. You can acknowledge the hurt you feel while choosing words that reflect who you are, not who you were at your lowest moment. You don't have to pretend you're unaffected. You must stay aligned with the man you're trying to become. She doesn't owe you affection, a response, or a second chance. She doesn't even owe you kindness in return. But you owe it to yourself not to let pain turn you into someone you'll regret being. When you speak poorly of a woman, not only do you devalue her, but you quietly devalue yourself. And long after the anger fades, the memory of how you acted will remain. Let it be one you can stand by. Number 5. Don't call her ugly or fat. For many men, frustration sometimes slips out as sarcasm or bluntness, but what's said in a moment of carelessness can echo for years inside a woman's heart. A comment about her body, weight, or appearance might feel like nothing more than a joke or even a wake-up call to him, but to her, it's a wound to her worth. Women are already sensitive creatures, not because they are weak, but because the world has taught them to tie their values so tightly to how they look. And when the man she loves joins that chorus of criticism, it doesn't push her to change, it pushes her away. What many men don't realize is how deep those words can cut. Telling a woman she's fat or implying she's not attractive enough doesn't motivate her, it shames her. It makes her question whether she's still loved and whether she's still seen, especially when it comes from someone she trusts and once felt beautiful around. Over time, these remarks don't just sting, they have become part of her internal dialogue. She begins to carry that comment with her into the mirror in the bedroom every moment she's near him. And here's what matters most. Those words don't just harm her, they harm the relationship. A woman who feels judged stops showing up fully. She hides behind layers, both physical and emotional. She stops reaching out. She grows quiet. Distance grows where intimacy used to live. But there's another way. If a man wants to inspire change, it starts with connection, not criticism. Instead of pointing out flaws, invite her on a journey of shared growth. Say, let's start eating better together. Or, I want to feel stronger. Do you want to hit the gym with me? That slight shift changes everything. It transforms the message from rejection to partnership. From "you're not enough" to "we're in this together." The truth is, no relationship thrives under the weight of unkind words, and no woman blossoms in the shadow of judgment. She thrives in the light of love, in the safety of encouragement, and in the presence of someone who reminds her not of what she lacks, but of all she already is. In the end, the strongest couples aren't those who avoid challenges. They're the ones who choose to face them side by side, hand in hand, with words that build, not break. Number 6. Don't cheat on her. There are few wounds in a relationship as deep as betrayal, and nothing shatters a woman's trust like a man cheating on her while still asking for her loyalty. Infidelity doesn't begin in the bedroom, it begins in the heart when a man starts disconnecting from the weight of his word. And for her, what hurts most isn't the act itself, but what it says about how little he values the bond they built together. As men, our word is everything. Integrity is the foundation of masculinity, not just in how we lead, but in how we love. When a man chooses to betray a woman emotionally or physically, he doesn't just break a promise. He breaks the space where she once felt safe. He turns something sacred into something uncertain, and in doing so he damages her ability to trust not just him, but sometimes even herself. If you no longer love her or want to chase other women, the honorable thing to do isn't to sneak around, it's to speak up. Break up first, be honest, give her the freedom to move forward, instead of holding her emotionally hostage while living a double life. That kind of quiet manipulation isn't strength, it's fear hiding in the shadow of cowardice. Letting her go before betraying her is not a weakness, it's respect. A man doesn't need to stay in a relationship out of guilt or obligation, but must act honorably, and if he can't remain faithful, he must be man enough to walk away cleanly. No one is owed your love, but once it's given, it should be guarded by truth. A relationship built on lies may survive for a time, but it will continually rot from within, and when the truth comes out, and always does, it's not just trust that dies. It's admiration, it's dignity, it's the belief that you were someone she could follow with her heart open. So if you've made a vow, keep it. If you can't keep it, don't fake it. End it before you break it. In the end, the measure of a man isn't how many women he can get. It's how he treats the ones who trust him the most. Number 7. Don't compare her to other women. Nothing cuts more silently through a woman's sense of worth than being measured against someone else. When a man says things like, "Why can't you be more like my ex?" or "My mum would never do that," he isn't just making a casual comment. He's clearly saying that who she is isn't enough. These aren't just words, they are quiet wounds that linger long after the conversation ends. In her mind, comparison translates to failure. It tells her that she's being evaluated not for who she is, but for how well she stacks up to another woman. No matter how unintentional the comment may be, it creates a crack in her identity that can be hard to seal. She begins to question everything, her way of loving, her way of thinking, even how she walks or laughs. The relationship stops feeling like a place of belonging and starts to feel like a silent competition. What makes these comparisons so damaging is that they don't motivate, they diminish. When a woman hears, "Why can't you be more like your best friend?" she doesn't feel inspired to grow. She feels replaced in his mind by someone who isn't her. That thought lingers, and it chips away at her confidence. She starts living in a space of emotional debt, always trying to earn a place she thought was already hers. The truth is, comparison makes love feel conditional. It implies that she would finally be good enough if she were just a little more like someone else. And that idea, that she is somehow almost but not quite right, can follow her beyond the moment it was said. It shows up in how she carries herself, how she responds to affection, and how freely she lets her guard down again. There's a reason the advice is repeated so often. Never compare her to another woman, not once, not even in jest, because what you say in passing may become what she remembers with pain. A healthy relationship isn't built on echoes of someone else. It's built on presence, acceptance, and the ability to love what is, not what could be if she were someone different. Being a man of value isn't about chasing approval or trying to impress others. It's about how you carry yourself when no one's watching. These 7 rules are not just guidelines for how to treat women, but reflections of your inner standards, emotional intelligence, and self-respect. When you choose not to buy a woman's affection, you show that your love is neither for sale nor your self-worth. When you resist the urge to objectify, insult, manipulate, or compare, you're not just treating her with dignity, you're reinforcing your integrity as a man. Many of us were never taught these things. Some of us grew up without role models, without honest conversations about how to show up in relationships with strength and grace. That's okay. What matters is what you choose to do now. Growth begins when you decide that your past doesn't define your future. Becoming a better man is not about perfection. It's about progress, responsibility, and the courage to hold yourself to a higher standard. Every action you take, how you dress, speak, and respond when angry or hurt, sends a message about who you are. A truly high-value man doesn't use his strength to intimidate or control. He uses it to lead with calm, to protect trust, and to create emotional safety. He doesn't cheat because loyalty is not about being perfect, it's about being honest. He doesn't compare because he understands that love is not a competition, it's a choice. And if no one ever told you this before, let this be the moment you hear it. You don't need to impress her with money or charm her with games. What matters most is how consistent, respectful, and grounded you are. These qualities don't just attract women, they build character. They make a life worth living. So, take a breath, reflect, and ask yourself, which of these habits do I need to let go of? Where can I grow? Because becoming better for yourself and others starts with honest questions and brave answers. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you struggled with any of these behaviors in the past? Which lesson hit home the hardest? Drop your thoughts and personal experiences in the comments below. Your story might help another man who's trying to grow too. And if you found value in this message, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more content on becoming the kind of man who leads with strength, respect, and purpose. See you in the next one.